Hello my lovelies, happy Monday and welcome to another crafting week. So it's Easy Makes Monday and I thought we'd do some nice easy black and white clusters. I thought we'd do a mix of paper and fabric and a bit of slow stitching on them. I really like to do a mix. I love sewing fabric and paper together. There's something really soothing about it for me. Might sound silly. Anyway, last week, if you remember, we did some stuff with Tracie's Notelet 2 set, the new black and white Notelet set, and I punched out some tabs, but also with my scraps I made well, I didn't make them, I punched them. I punched out some circles because I often like to put a circle topper on the top of tags. It makes a change. Sometimes you don't always want to put fabric or ribbon or whatever. It's nice to put a round circular tab there. And also I like to use them in my clusters. It gives them, you know, something a little bit different interest from just looking at straight edges. So I've got some of those. I've got some vintage black and white typed papers and some music. I've got a few bits and bobs left over from Notelet 2 which I'm going to incorporate, and then I've got these fabrics. I've got some black, that's black organdy, so that is great. If you ever want to do origami with fabric, buy organdy. And I mean, it's organdy, but you know, we could say organdy so you know what it is. And it's very fine weave, it's easy to crease. A bit thinner than if you get, say, black calico or muslin. I've got a little bit of black and white patterned sari silk out my stash, and I've got some white edgings. Now obviously some of the vintage papers, they don't look particularly white, and that's what we love about them, generally speaking. So I think it's fine to mix the old, the new, mix it all together. You get some interesting results, and it's all of the same tone really, isn't it? You're not putting anything coloured in it, so I think we're fine with that. So I've just done a quick one here just to show you that they're quite easy to make. They don't take a lot of doing, so I thought we'd just make a few for easy makes, and they will be able to go in the journal. The other thing I want to mention is that I don't want any particular bulk, because it's quite a slimline journal, this one, isn't it? So I don't really want them too bulky. Some of the bigger journals I can layer and layer and layer till we've got quite a lot of bulk in there, and it gives it a bit more of a 3D look. But I want things fairly flat for this. So let's have a look what we've got here. Let's there's some lovely old ledger paper there, and it doesn't matter what size you have your clusters. That wasn't a very good tear, was it? I'm going to take that off the top there, and I'm going to put a little bit of music paper on both of these, and I think we'll have a little bit of this. I like to fray the edges on edgings as well, if they're not already done so. That's got a bit of colour on that bit, so we'll turn that over. So that you don't have to have them over elaborate really. I think they're just this is where I have to, let me take my arthritis glove off. I can't be doing my sewing that. That's better. You'll be alright, well, so this is a really lovely cluster, it's a glove. Right, okay, so I'm just going to do a little bit of slow stitching on here. I've got 3 strands of 6-stranded DMC cotton, and I'm just going to put a few stitches on there to hold it. Just like that, and that is easy as that. Okay, you can do, I mean, there's loads of videos out there, people making clusters. I first learnt, well, saw, apart from Tracie, Gail Agostinelli, the queen of junk journaling, and so it's nothing new, but it's up to you how you know, how you do them. And I often like to put buttons on as well. Oops, I haven't tied a knot in that. So you can sort of decorate them even further. I have, sometimes I do put beads on. I like to do the stitches in 3s. You can make the stitches as easy or as elaborate as you want, really. You know, you can do a little bit more pattern if you want. There we go. Now, would that look nicer with a... No, something with quite a lot of black on it I think would go nicely. There, I like that one. So, yeah, now how I'm going to put this round on is I'm just going to do a French knot. I've got loads of sewing videos on my channel if you're new. Hi and welcome, thank you for joining us, it means a lot to me. I'm just going to put a couple of French knots in the middle of this to hold it and give it a bit more interest. So yeah, sorry, plenty of videos with sewing. I do a Sewing Tuesday, and if you want to know how to do some different stitches. Okay, I'm going to do a 3rd knot on there so we keep to our odd numbers, which I do like to do. This, it sort of evens it out. There's something about how the eye sees these things, I think. Right, I've got a very long needle here, which you need if you're going to be doing really long pieces. Another tip is if you get to nearly the end of the thread, take it out the end of your needle, put your knot through, and then when you're just about there, rethread your needle, and that way you get round it if you haven't got much. She says so, it won't fasten. There we go. There we go, got 3 on there. That's that one done. There we are, that's 2 done. I'll use some white thread this time, I think. Just thread up with some white. There's 3 on here. It doesn't want to thread in a 3, does it? Right, make a longer one this time now. I liked this. Loose chair covers. I really like that, so I'm going to make a long cluster for an edging, and what should we have on there? I'm going to have a little bit of black, a little bit of sari. And I like that the font is still showing, so. Sorry about that. Didn't realise the camera had stopped. Nearly finished it. Just going to do another row down, so I've got 3 rows. You see, it's a good way to use up your scraps of paper and your scraps of fabric. And those of you that know me, how many scraps of fabric have I got? I got rid of a lot of craft stuff for moving. I couldn't part with my fabric. Couldn't part with all my scraps of fabric. You never know when you need it, do you? So doing clusters is a good way of using up your scraps. And also, you know, you can pick a theme that you think's going to go with the theme of your journal, but you don't have to. You can do something totally abstract. It doesn't really matter. They often work on the page, whatever you do. So let's just tie that one off. I mean, as we go through this journal, I'll be able to show where we fit these on. And so that's 4. They're pretty quick to make. Right, let me get another round piece. And I liked this credit bit, didn't I? So we'll have a bit of that. And I've got some really old rag paper here, so I want a bit of that showing. I don't think I'll put a knot in it after that. You can, sometimes I've done them all in a long row, so you know you don't have to build them up entirely, sew them and then put them down. I have done them where you've put them in a long row and built them up that way. I tend to do them that way if I am doing loads of layering on them. Right, I'm going to do a cross in the middle of this. X marks the spot. So there's a cross there, and you can leave it at that. That will hold it all together. And just a little plain simple one that is. Right, we'll do a couple more. I mean, you can, this is why I'm putting it in for Easy Makes Monday, because you can get through quite a few. You can make quite a few different ones. Just get a bag of scraps of fabric and papers. Even pattern papers look really lovely. And sorry, trying to thread my needle. And you can put a load away in a little plastic, a little baggie, so that you've got them ready for projects. Right, let's have a look. I'm going to do, now then, this is a bit of my heraldry. Oh wow, look at that. I haven't got much of this left. I was going to use a bit of that, but love that. Look at that. Look at that old writing on there. So put it on something plain. Right, so what I've done here is I've just clustered them up with 3 different layers. And do I want to put a little bit? I don't want to cover that up though, do I? I'm just going to put that over there like that. Just let me get a pin. Just going to pin that together just so that they stay together while I'm sewing them. We'll use black again. And I'm going to do it across this way because the writing's going horizontal. I think it will be nice to have some horizontal stitching on this time. There's nothing straight about my sewing either. I try to keep it straight, but that's the beauty of slow stitch. Slow stitch is just finding time to chill out and just do some nice relaxing stitching. Be careful with this, that's very delicate, very old paper that. Okay. I've got this really long needle so that I could actually go in and out several times, and I would do that if it was on fabric. But you just got to be a bit careful with when you've got paper on it. Otherwise you end up with a hot mess. You do. Right, I'm going to finish that bit off because then I'm going to take it above. I don't want to cover that lovely writing up, so let's just finish that bit off. There we go. Just going to follow this around. Just follow the pattern. This sari is very fragile as well. It is actually antique sari. I've not got too much of it left. It practically disintegrates on you when you tear it. So you've got to be careful with it. And I think we'll just put a couple down here. Oops, see what I mean? You've got to be so careful with this real vintage paper. There we go. I'm going to leave that. Just thread them through. I mean, you're going to glue these on your page, so you know, just a bit of a knot to stop your stitches coming undone. There we go. Like that. Right then, so I hope that gives you some idea. Let's move these out of the way just so we can see what we've got done. I quite like that on there. That's nice. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've made 6 in a pretty short space of time. So hope that's given you some ideas. Those of you that are doing your black and white journal, get some of your scraps that's left over from your kits you've got and go and rummage for some old vintage paper with some black different type and different script on it, because sometimes swapping different scripts on the same cluster, it looks really interesting, and I just love them. They're just really effective on the corner of a page. I've not got my pages here. No, I haven't. And I was just going to show you on the corner of a page, but I haven't. Let's have a look if I've got one in here, just so we can see how they fit for those of you that are not used to them. Okay, so we've got a plain piece here. See, that can be your focal point on there. So, you know, you don't have to have anything else on the page. The other thing I like to do with them as well is I like to put them on the top of a page, and sometimes I would glue just the top half on so that you've then got a tuck spot under there for you to put a tag underneath, something like that. This little one here, you can put them in all directions. You can just stick it on like that. It's like a little bouquet of flowers, that, doesn't it? So yeah, I hope that's given you some ideas there, and I love to just, you know, spend a bit of time doing them so that I've got plenty in for any project. So thank you so much for joining me, and hope you're enjoying this design team project for May. Are we in May? Yes, we're in May. It's we're moving house. I don't know what month it is. Okay, my lovelies, so thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, especially if you want to know about upcoming videos. Because of the problems with the uploading at the minute, you know, it is a little bit hit and miss for my schedule. So if you press that notification bell, you'll know when there's one for you to watch. And I will be really, really grateful. And of course, love, love, love to all those of you that's been here for the long haul. All right then, bye for now.